Okay, so today we're going to make a dairy kefir. For that we're going to use grains, kefir grains. These are what they look like, and I'll bring them to the camera in a moment to show you a little bit more clearly. You can use cow's milk, goat's milk, you can use sheep's milk, and if you live in a far-flung place you could actually use buffalo milk, camel milk. This is a milk that is a grain that is cultivated in a dairy milk. So it's started, they are usually grown in cow's milk or goat's milk. So if you're dairy allergic, you're not going to be wanting to use grains like this. You can go to the coconut kefir milk video and learn how to make your milk with a powder. Okay, but if you're okay with dairy, then you can put these grains in any animal milk and make a wonderful kefir from it. I personally don't drink animal milk, but lots of you will, so I want to share this with you. My husband loves cow's dairy milk, kefir milk, and I drink the coconut kefir. So what I've got here is a clamped down jar. As usual, I use my glass jars. This has a nice rubber seal. It keeps the oxygen out, it lets the carbon dioxide out of the glass, enough of it so that the glass doesn't explode. You want a nice solid jar. Don't start buying cheap thin ones at craft shops. Get a nice solid kitchen grade jar, and of course when you clamp it down it's sealed nice and tightly. You can see what's going on, and it's really easy to make this milk. I'm going to show you now, but before I start I just want to bring the grains a little bit closer to the camera so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Coming in. Okay, so here are your grains. Okay, so they do look quite like, I think, rice pudding. Some people say they look like cauliflower, and I'm going to show you even closer now. I'm going to get an example of different grains. So essentially, when you first get your grains, they're going to be about this size. They start to colonise as you make kefir with them, and they grow, and eventually they start to clump. And if you look, I can pick this up, and look, this is really quite a large clump. What happens is, some people say that dairy kefir doesn't actually work as well when the grains are clumped quite that successfully, which will keep happening. So you can sort of break them up. I've been quite brutal. I haven't done it with a knife, but I use a sharp spatula or spoon, and I break them down again so that they are quite effective. But I don't want to stop them making friends, because the idea is that the more they clump and the more they colonise, the more they're growing, and then you can share your grains, because that's what it's all about, sharing your grains as well. So you make enough milk for you, and in the end you're going to end up like we have, and we don't even make an awful lot of this particular milk because my husband is the only one who drinks it in this household. I have enough here to make, I would say, 6 quarts of milk. We don't need that every week in the cow's milk. So at that point, when you have some extra grains, you give them to a neighbour or a friend, and then they can start making it and they don't have to buy them. And that's how kefir has kind of spread around the world, because it was started, the first grains came from the Caucasian mountains in Turkey. No one quite knows the story of the very first grains. How were they made? What happened? I've got to go on a mission to find this out, you know. But they were kept a secret for a long time, and eventually they ended up in jars on our tables, which is very exciting. So I have 2 tablespoonfuls of grains here, and this is how I make my dairy kefir. You're going to be shocked. Okay, I'm going to fill this glass jar with the milk, and I'm going to shut the jar. Actually, I'm just going to add a little more milk, just up to the bottom of the neck of the jar, and I'm going to shut that jar. I'm done. That was really difficult, wasn't it? That's dairy kefir. Now don't tell me you don't understand how to make it now. So many people say to me, oh, but it sounds so complicated. No buts. There are no buts. That is dairy kefir. Now wait, it's not quite, but that's how you make it. All you have to do now is wait for 12 to 48 hours. It's really weird. I'm sure ours used to take 12 hours, and my husband now makes his own, and he reckons it takes about 48. Perhaps they're behaving differently with him, I don't know. He took his on holiday. He had to go away without me, poor man, because my little cat's very sick. And when he went away, he took his grains and they took a week. They didn't like being taken away. And they misbehaved on holiday and they took a whole week to kefir up. Can you believe that? So never be disheartened if it doesn't happen straight away, because you know, it could be the temperature, the environment, they might just be a little bit fed up. But just put your nice fresh milk on and they will turn into kefir. Now, in the next video, what I would like you to do is to look at how we strain the grains. Now, the video does not say how to strain the grains. I want you to look at the video that says, my kefir has gone too sour, because quite often we leave these jars too long and it does go a little bit over sour and the milk starts to separate. Whether or not it separates, the process of straining the grains and making your new batch is exactly the same. So go watch that video, and then you'll come to the next one, which will show you a little bit more about how to store the grains if you're not using them all.